Let's go into this whole Tom Aspinall saga.
Oh,
Why
yeah,
waste time?
yeah, that's crazy.
So, how do we want to where do we start with this? Do we just
You
start
know,
from
I,
the
I
very
was just,
beginning, the eye
oh,
poke?
I was just gonna tell you this. I just rewatched it because the narrative is Ciryl Gane was whooping his ass.
That's the narrative, and that he was looking for a way out.
Yeah, and so like I just rewatched it, right? And I was listening to what Brandon Schaub has, and I said this in the beginning too. Just bad luck, honestly, bro. There was 30 seconds left in that round.
Hmm.
That's bad luck.
No, yeah, it is to some
Like
degree.
30 seconds in the round. Like fuck.
And you said we were saying that about Dumas. That's what you just said.
Well, I'm just saying in general, just like, like all you had was 30 seconds to get into that second round.
Yeah.
He could have him and Ciryl Gane could have been like posturing in the corner grappling, and 30 seconds would have been by and would have been 10 seconds and it would have been going. It just really bad luck, bro. And rewatching it, and I think the stats were like 30 versus 35
Hmm.
strikes.
Okay, so it was pretty close in strikes, you're saying?
Right. And I like to watch it with no
Commentary.
commentary. Yes. Because you kind of get a different feel for what happened.
Hmm.
And I saw Ciryl Gane had like 4 or 5 clean jabs out of those 30 punches.
Hmm.
Tom had a really good head kick.
Hmm.
His box, he had some good leg kicks. Like he was in and out. He was making Ciryl Gane circle around. He was going after him and making Ciryl Gane have to react to him.
Hmm.
But I mean, the eye pokes. I mean, and that begs the bigger question too. We talked about this in the past. The gloves.
Yeah, to be okay, so it seems like you're not putting any onus on Ciryl Gane. You're saying it's bad luck, it's the gloves.
Like onus in what aspect? Like he did a great job.
No, like Ciryl Gane should fucking have some control of his weapons. Like when you talk about
Yeah,
bad
a
luck,
hundred.
it's like
Yeah, I agree with that too. I 100% agree with that. Like there has to because I was looking at that too. His hands were open a lot.
right.
They were open a
On the
lot. Like
first takedown attempt, there's a viral screenshot now, right? The first takedown attempt, hands all up in his face from
yeah,
from the get-go, 3 minute or 2 minutes in.
yeah, yeah. No, but it goes back to A. There's no consequences,
Hmm.
really, right?
There's no consequences, yeah.
B. I was thinking about other champions who have been on really good runs. Like, why did they never get eye poked? Luck. You got to put luck into that category. If we were to create an algorithm, of why champions go on a run,
Hmm.
you got to have some luck. This dude got bad luck, bro.
Yeah, I
Like,
think I think luck can definitely play a factor into it, but it seems like what I would say to that is it seems like the same guys are doing it. Ciryl Gane even poked John Jones when they fought. Ciryl Gane got a compilation going around right now of him hitting Tai Tuivasa in the back of the head before knocking him out.
hmm
So it's like a
well,
history of fouling
yeah.
your opponents.
And I think you had said this on one of the previous podcasts. Like, hey, is there like almost like a committee where like how many times have you done this before? Like what are your stats in that area?
Yeah, which
You
I
know?
think nobody's been able to find, but it's funny because the UFC has a stat for everything, don't they? We got the first fucking Cameroonian fighter in history. We got the most significant strikes in history, but they're not tallying up on the eye pokes, I guess.
And there's not like you said before, like there's a lot. It's almost like there's a lot more behind the scenes that the UFC still needs to clean up because like you had mentioned before, like you need that ref outside the ref.
Right.
Where is that committee, that dude fucking on the sideline making the final call? Like, no, we just watched this. This is where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have one rep doing this and we have another rep doing that. And then it's like, bro, there's every decision's made different.
Yeah, like we need officials in the booth, right, to review the camera footage and then send that message in to the referee doing his job in the octagon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that they don't do that and then they want to act like, oh yeah, we're the NBA, we're the NFL, that's what we're going for, uniforms and all this stuff, right? It's like, dude, get your shit together.
Mm-hmm.
Get your shit together. The fact that We don't even have, not even that. On an even more simple basis, we don't even have anything for fouls or penalties. There's no clear-cut rule for fouls or penalties.
Right. It's still the wild, wild west when you do actually, you're at a point as an organization, as the top tier organization, where we need something more cut and dry now.
On several levels at this point. And
At
it's
several
crazy
levels.
that we don't say this. Where is instant replay? It's
Yeah.
2020 fucking 5, bro.
Yeah.
How the fuck is there no instant replay determining these things? To kind of go into something else, but we're gonna stay on the topic. Just stick with me why I'm bringing this up.
Yeah.
Jake Matthews. I don't know if you saw it, but Jake Matthews got overturned, or his appeal didn't get overturned.
Right. Got denied.
The fact that he's even still trying to appeal it after the fact is retarded. It should have been a fucking cemented decision in the octagon. It should have been instant replay. Referee says Neil Magny was out. Neil Magny says he wasn't out. Let's go to the official in the booth. Instant replay. Oh, Neil wasn't out. The referee made a mistake. The fight continues. All right. Then Jake Matthews doesn't have to go through this whole appeal and then losing an appeal after the fight because it was a certain fucking decision. And then on the opposite end of that, Kyle Nelson and Matt Frevola, if they would have used instant replay, they would have been like, there's 3 seconds left. Frevola's severely damaged. You robbed him of a knockout. We're going to chalk that up as a finish. You know what I mean? So it can go both ways.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there needs to be an
examples.
Yeah, there needs to be an instant replay. The
Yeah.
fact that there is not that is crazy to me. Because
And
what's going to happen? Kyle Nelson going to go appeal his fucking decision now and ask for a knockout or something?
Right.
Like, they should
Right.
decide this stuff inside the octagon. We shouldn't leave fights with more uncertainty.
And we're talking about $1 billion. They just got what? How much was the $1 billion Paramount deal?
6 or 8, right?
Right. We're at a point.
4?
Just-
I don't know.
Yeah, you're not fucking Bellator. You're not, you're not these fucking, like, we're at a point where you need all of what you just said.
So why not? Why not? We got the let me present something to you, okay? But go wherever you want once I present this to you. We got the NBA being investigated, right? For ties to the mafia, ties to gambling, whatever you want to call it, right? Game fixing, right? Because of gambling. We got Dan Miragliotta stopping a fight with 3 seconds left on the clock. Okay, this guy, how convenient. He got a hearing problem. That's his thing. I got a hearing problem, so he can keep doing this. He could keep doing this as long as they're going to let him get away with reffing fights because he got a hearing problem. People, the reason why I'm saying that now is because people, the announcers, Bispings and the DCs, are saying this isn't the first time Miragliotta stopped a fight with seconds left on the clock. Before I even found that out, that night where he robbed Kyle Nelson of a knockout, I said, investigate this dude. What the fuck does he have? The over or something? The fuck is going on here? He completely just got in the way of this knockout. Now, I don't know what previous fights they're talking about where he stopped it with seconds left on the clock. But the fact that Bisping is saying he did that, I believe him. And then because even the fact Bisping was telling the story of like when he did it versus Kyle Nelson, he made eye contact with the announcer, the broadcast team, and he mouthed like how many seconds were left. And then they were like 3. And then he's like, because amongst them, it's common knowledge that this dude can't fucking hear shit. So if you can't hear shit, get the fuck out of the fucking octagon, dude. Because otherwise, I think you're fight fixing. And I said this before I even found out he got a hearing problem. And do I believe he got a hearing problem? I don't give a fuck if he has a hearing problem. How about that? Shove it up your fucking ass, dude. We don't care about that. These guys are risking their life. We don't give a fuck about your hearing problem. Or you're trying to make an excuse because you're involved in some type of gambling shit. Like I said, I thought this dude had a fucking bet on the over. How the fuck do you stop a guy from knocking a dude out with 3 seconds left unless you don't have a bet on the over?
Yeah, that was a crazy. That's a great example because that was very recent, and I remember seeing that 3 seconds left on the clock. Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have finished. You would have finished him.
Right.
It would have been done. It would have been over. And then if you add the layer, like you said, like you can't hear. Like I mean, there has to be a point where it's like, okay, we'll just not out of disrespect. Like, hey, you know, we need reps in here that can hear.
Yeah, with all due respect,
There's too much on the line. There's too much on the line.
Right, and it is with all due respect, but I'm even pissed off that he's not. And I get it. You want to make money. You like this job or whatever. You're gonna keep going in and doing it. But that's a selfish decision, bro.
It is a selfish decision
because you're fucking over guys just because you want to keep stepping in the octagon and reffing.
Yeah, but I guess too, it'd be like almost like any other. UFC is at a point where they're getting compared to every other organization, NBA, NFL, MLB. Like you have those leagues dialed in when it comes to like the replay views. You know what I mean? Like every aspect when it comes to like, oh, headquarters in New York, NFL office is looking at this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because there's all billions of dollars on the line, and the UFC doesn't have an excuse anymore about like money.
No, because they got money.
Yeah, they had, and so the questions we're asking is to make the organization top tier,
And you got
right?
Dana fucking promoting Power Slap and all this other bullshit, and it's finally starting to catch up. Some of the bitching, you know what I mean? This is what we're talking about. I would like a guy invested being like, you know what? Let's get some legislature involved. You're over here trying to amend the fucking Muhammad Ali Act. You know what I mean? The legislature there. Why don't we get some fucking legislature in the UFC at a bare minimum, install instant replay, and get rid of the whole intentional, unintentional bullshit and make it all intentional? Here's an example based off what you were just saying too. The NBA, they all have these things dialed, right? To the point where you can even flop. You can even flop. And whose fault is it when they flop? Can you tell me? Is it the person who flopped, or is it the fucking person who even got close to fouling?
Well, I mean, there's both ends, right?
But who gets the free throws ultimately? Who ultimately gets the free throws in that situation?
The player, the offensive player.
The person who flops, right? The offensive player. So please, dude, like, but then the UFC is gonna say, well, that's a perfect example of why they don't want to do it, because this is show business and it's gonna incorporate some of this stuff. Now, I don't fully have an answer for that, but what do you know what I mean?
I mean, okay, so there has to be something like one, you have that outside ref to make a decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say there's like a flop, as you could say. Okay, let's take a quick look at it, because I wish they did that in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA should do that. We're like, hey, this guy multiple time is a line stepper and always knows what he's doing and flopping, pushing his body in, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Of using the system.
Mm-hmm.
What you're saying is using the system
Mm-hmm.
to your advantage. And the other thing too is like it's almost like in the NFL, I think they get 2 challenge flags.
Right.
Like 1 challenge flag of a fight. Like
a
you
challenge.
can't,
Okay. Yeah. Challenge flag. Okay.
yeah, like your coach.
Right.
You know what I mean? Something like that. Let's say it was a 3-second thing, right? This 3-second rule. The coach that was the opponent, that the person that was basically didn't get the benefit of the doubt, has the opportunity to say, I want that reviewed. And but you get 1. We can't be having like, you know what I mean? Like 10 reviews.
Right. But then the issue, I guess, is like, it would come into the situation we find ourselves in now, where the refs would ultimately be debating the fighter's intent about whether or not he intentionally flopped, whether or not it was a real penalty, right? Because if you think about it, if you go mandatory nut shot is an automatic foul, then does that mean guys are going to be flopping left and right for nut shots? I don't know. But I'm just presenting this. We probably don't have an answer. But I'd almost rather err on the side of safety than not. If that's the other option, right, err on the side of safety, err on the side of the person who's getting fucking illegally fouled, then okay, I'd rather deal with the repercussions that come with that than deal with what we've been dealing with now, which it seems to be the opposite of this, which is like all the manipulation of the rules gets to go on the fouler, because the fouler gets to manipulate and say, oh, they'll always chalk it up as unintentional, and the first eye poke I give is a warning. So like the fouler right now is basically doing the equivalent to flopping by playing stupid, right? Or just exploiting the fact that they can get away with 1 penalty. You can just get away with 1. So why not do it? John Jones on camera admitting to it, saying, I do that shit. I do that shit. Yeah, that shit you're talking about. I do that shit. Derek Lewis, I do that shit. I do that shit. And here we are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would say this, like, but at this point though, there's not even like, hey, you get 1 as a warning and then the second one is automatic. We don't even have that. We don't even have that. Like, we at least got to start there though.
Some type of just uniform, right? Just a uniform, just, something.
Like moving forward, 2026 Paramount, you're gonna get an eye warning on your eye, on the eye poke. and that could be like reviewed. Like, hey, that could even be unreviewed, but automatically second, regardless, it's either a DQ or it's a point. If you started giving out DQs, the whole system would change.
I mean, I was thinking about something. I don't know if it's too extreme, but I'm almost of the fucking idea at this point. First one is a point deduction. Second one is a DQ. Get the fucking hands out of the guy's face. Figure the fuck out.
It's interesting because like live when Ciryl Gane, when that fight happened, I was like, oh, you can't like I was just thinking like, what if they said this was a DQ?
I think like, I would have rather have been that.
See, and so like I was on the ladder. I was like, man, I don't want to see him disqualified for a mistake. But when you start adding in all the other instances, so let's say you go into a fight and it's like he's already had 4 eye pokes. Going into this fight, it's on record. You walked in here with 4 eye pokes in previous fights. You're going like your spider senses or your like alert senses for this guy is hyper aware.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have as a ref, you have the ability to say this either the warning or be a DQ on your first one, just so you know starting the fight. Imagine the fighter's awareness going into like, okay, hold up.
Well, yeah,
like his whole attitude would change.
And it's like to that point too. At what point, right? Because even you said bad luck, right? And here's where I'm at with that. I can respect bad luck if it was anybody but Ciryl Gane poking the fucking eye. If Tom Aspinall, right? If Tom Aspinall poked Ciryl Gane's eye and the exact opposite happened, I would be more inclined to be like, yeah, it's bad luck. But at what point do we start to accuse this man, Ciryl Gane, of intentionally fouling guys and playing coy? At what point?
There's a lot of value to that. I have to admit. Like,
should it be the 5th? Should it be the 6th? Maybe the 7th?
Yeah, I mean, there has to be.
Does Tom have to go blind? What? I just want to know what has to happen for us to confidently say, essentially, right? I'm entertaining here.
Well, and
but fuck this guy.
Here's a good example. In the NFL, if you get caught, I forgot what hit it is, but it's like
spearing or headshots.
It's a helmet to helmet, right? I know it's a fine. It could be a suspension. Do it again. See what happens.
So you're saying
I believe that's an automatic 3-game suspension.
So you're saying no more fights for like a 12-month period, 18-month suspension on the lines of fucking what happened to Nick Diaz when he got popped for marijuana. Nick Diaz got popped for marijuana, got an 18-month suspension, $500,000 fine. You think that should happen with illegal penalties when you got a history like Ciryl Gane?
I mean,
because what do I always say about MMA? What do I always say about MMA? It's Groundhog's Day every fucking day with these guys. It's a new fucking day. We forget history every fucking morning in the MMA world. Just like you're saying, because Ciryl Gane steps in the octagon, right? And it's Groundhog's Day. His past does not follow him, right? But I agree with what you're saying. I completely agree. At what point, right? Because nothing ever happens, right? But it's like when you pop for weed the first time, back in the day with Nick Diaz, he pops the first time, he gets a little penalty. Then the second time it's steeper. Then the third time it's steeper. Well, here you're fucking with the guy's future. Like, think about this. If Tom Aspinall, I mean, he's claiming he's hurt. We're going to get into whether or not they're milking it or not. But really, that shit's irrelevant because Ciryl Gane, if he's such a pussy, if he's such a bitch, then don't poke him in the eye. Use your brain, bro. But here's what I wanted to say. I just lost my fucking thought.
About Tom or about Ciryl?
I was gonna say, I think I've already forgot it, but basically on the lines of the whole Nick Diaz thing, right? And Nick Diaz getting penalized more and more for every time he got caught for marijuana.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then Ciryl Gane hasn't even received one penalty for eye pokes. To me, that's like, what the fuck are we doing here?
And here's another good example. And I'm using other organizations because they don't even have it dialed in, but they have some of it dialed in. Taunting and flagrant fouls in the NBA. Draymond Green. He is a habitual getting taunting, getting flagrant fouls, getting into altercations, getting suspended because of because he keeps doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so like you'll see one where like he fell down with another guy and then it's like, oh, I'm a flagrant. It's like, yeah, bro, but you've done we have 6 other cases of you doing the same shit. Of course, this time it looks bad again. But you're right. You go into that ring, it's almost like 0 times 0. Nothing's remembered of what past faults they've had.
I think it's called whitewashed. You know what I mean? History has just completely
Right.
been whitewashed. It's just gone.
Right. And there's no real track record of it. No, this is an interesting conversation because the UFC has still areas in their organizations that they need to clean up. If you're
100%.
a billion-dollar company and you're trying to compete with the NBA, college football, NFL, I mean, you're looking like you're a junior league.
So there's a lot to that. I think we might have covered all the bases. If something else comes back to me, I will present it.
Anybody in the chat?
Yeah, we got some people in the chat. Before we talk about the other topic, as far as this Tom milking it and shit, let's see what some of the boys say. So, what up, Tyler Betts? What up, Scott? I'll just read off the names. Yeah, I'll read off the names as I read their chat. So, Skylar and or Tyler and Scott, I just combined their names. Say what up, boys. So, what up, boys? Good to see you guys in the chat.
Let us know your area code.
Yeah, drop your city in the chat, boys. MTK keeping track. Mark Hatch says the doctors were even laughing at Tom's acting and said it's not anything serious. Now that is also true.
You did kind of laugh.
That is also true. He rolled his eyes a little bit.
He didn't look too worried, bro. He didn't look too worried.
He hit him with that side eye real quick. Scott goes, first foul should be an automatic point. Second foul is another point. Third foul is automatic DQ. Like, it gets to a point, right? It gets to a fucking point.
But this is the thing. I've seen fights, bro, 3 or 4 eye pokes in one fight, and everybody's like, "Bro, what the fuck is going on?"
Well, even Mike Malott with the two nut shots to Kevin Holland, doctors coming in the cage and still no point taken, and then Drew Dober does it one time to his opponent, right? And then it's an instant point.
Yeah, there's no like.
It's a joke. I swear to God. Just look at it from an outside perspective, real quick. How can you not just? You cannot ignore the fact that there could be fight fixing going on with what I'm explaining to you right now. What other way can you explain it?
I mean, that's not too far off. I won't say that it's not too far off. It's not improbable.
It's not improbable, and I'm not saying that's a fact, but I'm saying you're leaving holes in your fucking system, okay? So if that's a hole that causes a question like that, I'm allowed to ask a question like that. If you're going to keep these holes of uncertainty in your system, I'm more than in my right to ask a question like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Did people have money on Drew Dober's opponent? Did the Mafia have money on that dude? Because you took a point from Drew Dober immediately. Or how about, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no consistency.
There is no, that's the word, consistency. There is zero consistency in this. And that's the most alarming thing about all this. No consistency.
No consistency. And then where does the consistency lie? To where the majority of the money is in the sports books?
Yeah.
Like dead ass.
And I think too that the Nick Diaz thing, you know, how are we going to penalize fighters more for smoking weed than we are for them for like actual harm in the cage?
This is what I was going to say. Thank you for saying that. So when I said I forgot my point, this is what I was going to. Exactly like you said it. You're doing this to a guy who smokes fucking weed. And nothing's happening to the guy who's literally poking dudes in the fucking eye. If Tom Aspinall would have continued in that fight, this is what I was going to say. Regardless, if he's actually injured, because he's saying he's injured. So I have to believe that, right? Now, he's saying he's injured. He just has to go subject himself to getting hit 10 more times in that eye. And what happens if he gets knocked out and then his fucking retina detaches like Michael Bisping and he goes blind? Because he couldn't see a kick coming off of something that should have never happened in the first place, something that was illegal, something that should have been immediately penalized, you know? And so you're not going to do anything to this guy who's actually fucking with people's lives. Like Tom Aspinall got an autistic...
Your livelihood. Yeah.
Tom has an autistic son. Tom needs to be able to be there for his kid more than the average parent, bro. And that's not, you know, we don't have to do that for everybody and go on their stories, but it's just to say that, like, you know, certain people need to be there for their family more than others. That's just a simple way of life. You know, you ever heard of cerebral palsy? Where people can't even, like, their spine function doesn't work, so they literally are, like, born vegetables and they have to be taken care of 24/7? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just heard of another fighter whose son passed away, like, 9 months old, because he had this condition where he had blisters all over his body, and just picking him up to take a bath, he said would take him 2 hours. He said touching his son's skin would rip his skin off, and his son passed away at 9 months old because of that disease that he was born with. You know, people have issues outside of the octagon, and you're already risking your life, but it's a part of the job. You're risking your life as a part of the fucking job. You signed up for it. You know what I mean? You don't gotta go in there and fucking keep fighting because Ciryl Gane can't keep his gosh dang fingers to his damn self.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then just to round about that point, that's the guy, right, who hasn't got any penalties, who hasn't gotten any suspensions for any lengthy period of time. And then meanwhile, Nick Diaz got his whole career railroaded because he tested positive for fucking smoking kush after fighting Anderson Silva.
Right.
And they chalked that up as a performance-enhancing drug.
Yeah,
Well, how about a fucking finger poke is a, fight-enhancing move?
Yeah.
That directly sways the rest of the fight, especially in the first round. This guy ain't slick at all. Poking the dude's eye in the first minute and a half. You're not slick, bro. I said, at what point does it get to? I'm at the point. I'm at the point.
Yeah. And I think too, like when seeing the narrative, like about the narrative was kind of man up, right?
Man up. You were losing.
Up. Yeah, man up. Just dog it out.
I saw a comment. Let me just, because it's on your narrative. All the fans who paid $79 got their money wasted.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, fuck your $80, bro.
Yeah, I mean, and that's gonna be like, right? I mean,
like he should have kept fighting because you spent $80. That's what they're saying.
But casual MMA, bro. Like, I mean, bro, that's probably like the if we could go. There was a lot of good, funny narratives out there.
They're good. They're good.
I saw one of the memes, bro. Van Damme when he got the smoke in his eyes.
Yeah.
And he goes, everybody expected Tom Aspinall to be the Van Damme character. It looks like you're right.
It's like, dude, you guys are crazy.
That's a funny meme. I was like, that was a good one, bro. That's what everybody expected. They wanted Tom to go out there, fucking fight blind and shit.
Just like, because they paid $80. Superman exactly. Tom Aspinall.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, like, the narrative, like, hey, of man up, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are fighters. I've seen them. We've seen them, bro. Like Orabai, when he had that one eye, he was still out there fighting. That's crazy. You know what I mean? So don't get me wrong. There are been stories, but at the same time, Tom Aspinall is at a position where, like, I told some of this the other day. I was like, have you ever been eye poked? It was a month ago. I was with my nephew, and he's just accidentally, bro, just like, playing with me. He poked my eye. I swear to God, bro, I was down. You know what I mean? Like, but it was like I was able to, after like I think 20 minutes, I was like, just kind of like it was just bugging me,
100%.
I didn't have to go to the hospital. I didn't go to the emergency room. But if I was in a fight,
and they said that shit got to be better in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I would have had to tap.
Yeah,
I would have. You know what I mean? Oh, he would have stopped me. The guy would have got me. You know what I mean? Because like literally that whole time, I remember. And I couldn't get mad at my nephew. You know what I mean? He don't know no better. He's 3 years old.
Yeah.
You don't know any better. He just thought he was just playing and stuff. And so I remember I'm like trying to rinse it off. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to like put water in it. I'm trying to like blink and like blink it out. And I just kept like, and then I'm in my own mind. I was like, man, I'd like, okay, just hold your eye, do compressor. I think it was like 10 minutes into it. I was like, all right, I can kind of blink again. I'm not going to lose my eye, because you're like, first you're like, you're nervous.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just so funny. Like it just happened to me like a month ago. I was like, oh, I can kind of relate.
He poked it with his finger accidentally or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Dang.
And it was such a micro level though. Think about it. I'm playing with my nephew.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not in a fight. Don't have to go to work tomorrow. I'm thinking, am I going to have to go to the emergency room? None of that happened. I was able to drive back home.
It wasn't 265-pound Ciryl Gane poking you mid-fight?
Right. Okay. Both of my eyes scraped, Like,
and you said you were out for how many minutes? About 10 minutes?
I was like a solid 10 minutes. Because the first 5 minutes I'm trying to wash, put water on it.
Yeah.
Second 5 minutes, I put like a rag on it just because I was like, all right. And I kept on kind of going like that. My nephew just out playing. He already forgot about it. You know what I mean? And but then like after like 10 minutes, I was like, all right, I can open it. Like I was like, I can open it. I don't need to go to the emergency room. I'm okay. But it took about 10 minutes.
Right. And so, I mean, even that, it's like, if that gets illegally done to you in the middle of a fight, I mean, forget all the other narratives, bro. Right? That just happened to you in the middle of a fight. Because people are going to say, here's what I'm getting to. People are going to say, and I've a little bit on this, but let me put it like this, right? That there's this narrative right now that if Tom has no injury, right? Because they're saying cosmetically it looks fine. I've said that to the chat. The chat tried to inform me. They said it's a laceration in the eye, which you can't see to the naked eye, right? You got to have that microscope to like see that shit.
Right.
But if it even doesn't have that, right? People are going to kind of be like, "Oh, he's a puss. I told you there was no injury. He could have continued." But for you, right, in a way, you're saying, you know, my nephew, just to equate it to an average person, right? It's like my nephew poked me. I was out for about 10 minutes. My eye turned out to be totally fine, right? It turned out to be totally fine, but I was out for about 10 minutes. Now, like I said, you only got 5 minutes to recover if you're Tom Aspinall in the middle of a fist fight, right? So in my opinion, it's like, yeah, even if there's nothing wrong with the eye, based off the example you just told me, I'm not going to kill the man if there's no injury and he still wanted out of the fight. Because again, Ciryl Gane should have never poked him.
And I think too that the whole, like I told you, the narrative that like Ciryl Gane was whooping his ass. Like I went back and I just watched it. Like he jabbed him. Yeah, he bloodied him. Yeah, he made Tom look you know like he was human now. He was able to get him almost get him out of the first round. I loved all those things, but he wasn't whooping his ass though.
No, the fight was heating up, right? It was heating up. It wasn't like he was beating his ass. In fact, like you said, he was skirting around and Tom was trying to find his range. I want to see the rematch. I don't think, because it's flopped now. People were saying Ciryl Gane this is the fans though, dude. What can you do? Yeah. Ciryl Gane, right, was gonna get washed by Tom Aspinall, knocked out in the first round. You know, Tom's earned that credit because he's got the touch of death on everyone. Like I've been saying about Tom, I keep almost saying it wrong because I'll start off by being like, he hasn't been tested. But it's like, no, he hasn't. But it's like, he's fought tough guys. Just those tough guys haven't even been able to test him. So people think when you say he hasn't been tested, like he hasn't fought tough guys. It's like, yeah, he has fought tough guys, but those guys haven't tested him. Finally, Ciryl Gane tested him, right? So,
and that's what was making it interesting. That's why everybody was like, "Oh shit, let's go!"
As soon as Ciryl Gane tests this man, oh, he's getting washed in the rematch. Ciryl Gane's knocking his ass out. When just a second ago, you know, Tom Aspinall's knocking Ciryl Gane's ass out.
Yeah,
crazy work.
Yeah, I think too. Even when Dana came out, Dana, I think, you know, he was frustrated. He wanted to see the full fight. You know, I think if Dana had a chance, he'd walk that back a little bit.
He would walk it back a little bit.
I think so. I mean, he will never say it, but I think that was the wrong.
As the business owner, he's just a bit frustrated because that's his product. Like the other Wednesday when the stream went down, because I don't know if you knew, but that day, our last stream, YouTube crashed. Like YouTube crashed.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But this is my production, right? This is my show. So when my show crashed on Wednesday, which I promised to people, I was like, deep down, I'm like freaking frustrated about that. You know what I mean? So maybe Dana, I could understand that.
Yeah.
It's his show. It's his product.
Especially in the Middle East, right?
That co-main event wasn't good. What'd you say?
In the Middle East. Oh, you like the co-main?
Well, it's just like, that's what everybody gets left with. Dana's probably like, great. This is fantastic.
Hey, the homies in the chat, I don't know if you know yet, but Jacob loves the women fights. Like, he fucking wakes up. Like,
no, they know in the chat. I always tell them. And we got Gina in the chat. What up, Gina? We got our lady in the chat. No, whenever there's like fights on though, if there's like the women's fight to start it off, if it's not a good one, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna start like as soon as, like I'll start the stream after this fight.
Yeah.
I always start it after.
Can you hear that?
Huh?
Can you hear that?
No.
Okay, perfect. Never mind.
Chilling?
Yeah, there's someone using
Should I read some chats right now or what?
You can.
What were you on? Did we just end our topic or like what'd you say a second ago?
I was just saying Dana, you know, Middle East, he was frustrated. I was listening to what Brendan Schaub said too. Brendan had said something, you know, basically on the aspect like, hey, you know, there was a little ring rust there, but I thought I guess I don't know. When I went back and I rewatched it, I was like, there might have been a little bit of ring rust. I just think everybody expected Tom was gonna knock him out like he did the first round. This is the first time someone was about to bring him into the second round, and I think for the fans, that's what would have been exciting in my eyes when we say bad luck. The bad luck just as a whole, like 30 seconds left in the first round, we didn't get to see we didn't get to see what could have transpired. Maybe Ciryl Gane brings him into the third, fourth round. You know, we get to actually answer a lot of those questions. Maybe bloody Tom up even a little bit more. Maybe Ciryl Gane gets bloodied up.
Maybe Ciryl Gane starts to wilt to the pressure, right?
Right.
All these questions.
Yeah.
What
So
happens if Tom
fun.
got a takedown on Ciryl Gane? Then we get to see how does Ciryl Gane get back up and keep fighting. Like, we get to see this stuff.
Right.
And I feel like it would be a good fight if it can go 5 rounds. Like, I feel like it could be, still has the makings of being a good fight.